Chris McLean back with yet another episode, and in the studio today I've got another double header for you with Lisa and Eric from Infinite Design House, and they're a full service agency who do all the things that you don't want to do or don't know how to do to grow and scale your business. As a content, branding, digital and lead generation agency, they guide established business owners in the service industry, coaches, consultants and leaders to strategize and create assets like courses, memberships, coaching programs, opt-ins, funnels, websites, all that good stuff, and all done for you. It's like an all-inclusive vacation, which sounds amazing. Lisa and Eric, thank you so much for dropping by the show this morning. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Same here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So take us through, how did this all come about? Were you a team before this? Were you running separate businesses? Were you in corporate? Sort of what brought you into this space, into the agency?
Yeah, it was kind of a idea that started over a craft beer with the Super Bowl playing at a bar, and we were paying no attention to the game. We were just after a mastermind event that we were in together, and mapping out. We're always debriefing about our life and our marriage and our parenting, and then we're like, man, we really should take this time to think about, what is the dream for our business? Where do we want to go? What is working? What is not working? And at the time, we were working two separate businesses. So I was on the front side, content marketing, social media, speaking, really being that face of storytelling and connection and sales, and honing in on getting people to buy into you and really connect with you and build a relationship with you. Eric, you were doing...
I was more on the traditional agency side, so doing branding and helping clients, craft their brand and develop their logo and their colors and all that good stuff, websites, and building all the traditional stuff out. So yeah, we were, like Lisa said, sitting there at the Super Bowl having a craft beer, and Lisa was bouncing ideas off of me about we should be doing this, and what about if we could do this, and I was like, I need to pull you on these calls because the clients need more than just agency stuff. They need strategy. They need help with coaching on video, and they need help on, how they're going to map this out and build out, a course or a membership, and their video skills are just, they're scared to be on video.
And then I was saying, once we've nailed all that, now the tech is what either freaks people out. They can't do it. They're spending all this time learning how to do it with a done with you program. And then when it comes time to put the butts in the seats, they can't actually execute, or it's taking them forever. And it's not really their zone of genius and what they should be doing. So I'm like, I need you. And literally we were like, how could we not see this right in front of us? Because we're so in tune with everything else in our life. We should have a company together. We should work together. And we didn't want to be a company that comes in, and I call it kind of like the boat is sinking and you're just kind of plugging the holes of it. We didn't want to just come in and do a website. We didn't want to just come in and do lead generation. Yeah. Because as we know, if all of your assets and there's not a great flow through of how somebody comes in, where they land, what's on that landing page or that website, what does their technology work right? Are all the links working? Does it overcome all the objections and really take the person on a journey? We didn't want to just be a gap filler or a plugger in the hole, because it's so easy to say, well, that didn't work because this person didn't do this, and this didn't work because that person didn't do that. Where we wanted to handle it all and really take people through, where we kind of get that all-inclusive piece. You don't have to find a copywriter, a logo designer, a sales strategist, a content marketer, a coder, a developer, a social media expert, a lead generation. We're like, we're going to create this team. So it started as you and I, which was a really quick way to burn out.
Yeah, I can imagine doing all of that yourselves. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You cannot scale and grow. And I think burnout really comes from doing the things that you don't enjoy either. Like as we grew, I was like, I don't want to write copy anymore. And you were like, I don't want to design funnels and design websites and logos. So burnout comes from A, not allowing your team to help or growing a team, and then B, doing things that even you shouldn't be doing. So we grew the team, and it took us a little bit to get there, to find, the right key players there. But it's just brought so much joy to be able to do what we love, have people on our team that are experts and do what they love. And mostly our clients say, I can sleep at night because I know I have a team now that gets me and can take me through the whole thing. So that's how that started.
Yeah.
Yes. Super valuable service. They said, rather than plugging little bits, you get to actually look at the holistic picture and say, right, what are we doing end to end? They said, let's tell that story in the right way. So when somebody starts at the start and they get all the way through, it's a nice flow of I'm getting the same touch points. It feels, it's congruent. It feels the same. The languaging's the same. The design looks the same. Not bouncing between ClickFunnels and then a website and then this and then that, and they're all kind of different fonts and styles and different messaging, and one's video and which can be a nightmare. And I love what you say. Johnson, service providers who they have the craft, or they love coaching, but they don't have that tech capacity to go, okay, I've got to build out a program now. How the hell am I actually going to do that technically? I think you touched on an interesting point. A lot of us will go and do that done with you, done for you, or sort of DIY done with you program where we get taught the thing, but we don't get taught the thinking of how to think about doing that thing. And once the program's done, we're like, oh crap, I don't actually know how to do that. I followed it, but I don't actually know what I'm doing anymore. That can be a lot of fall off, and having somebody just to come in and do it for you.
Yes. And every client is different, I find. Like, of course, we have systems and strategies and processes and all of that. But sometimes those cookie cutter approaches, they really don't work. You could be in the same industry, but of course you want to be doing things. That's what sets you apart, to do it different. So a lot of times it takes us to come in and really coach to that and say, well, this might work if you wanted to do this, but you actually want to do this. So here's a better solution. So I find that's what happens a lot too in those done with you. People go, well, that works for you, but that doesn't really seem to be working for me. I think that's a major flaw with hacks and systems and shiny objects is there's a tendency to go, well, video is hot, so I have to do video. And then I go do a video course because I get sold on doing a video course, but I absolutely hate being on camera. Right? And it's and I hate it, but I have to do it. That's a quick route to burnout, but that's a quick route just to frustration and doing something just because somebody told me that that's what they wanted to sell me, right? They wanted to sell me on Facebook ads or video, whether that's right for my personality or my character type or who I am or what I want to achieve. Unless you're very clear on that, you can end up just chasing rabbit holes and spending all this time doing crap that just doesn't suit you. So I think that's a major component. So do you find, is that how you work with someone? You come in and you try to understand who they are and what their objectives are, and then go, right, you're doing this, keep the example, you're doing video marketing, but you've just told us you hate being on camera. So let's scrap that and let's do some faceless LinkedIn marketing or something like that, right? Is that you talked about that coaching capacity?
Yeah, that's exactly how we start all of our client work, is exactly that. We'll dive in deep with the client right off the gate just to make sure that we fully understand where their business is today and then where they want to go tomorrow. And then we help map that out to say, okay, well, like you said, if you're not good on camera, then maybe your brand isn't necessarily yourself. It should be, maybe you have like a company that then positions you so that you're the face behind the company, but you don't have to be on camera all the time as a personal brand, so to speak. Because they feel like that's the way they should be doing it, when they see it in reality and go, oh yeah, but if I'm going to have to be there all the time, it may not work. It's a delicate balance too, between nudging people to do things that are going to have maximum value. Like if we're really big on education and explaining, like, I know you don't want to do video.
maybe it's that, but it's like we've driven 2,000 people to your, cart page and they're not buying. Maybe we need to throw a 1-minute video in here that just gets them connecting to you. Here's why, here's why it would be beneficial. Everything's a discussion. Like everything is that, back and forth kind of explaining and teaching and trying to figure out what that best solution is. Because sometimes there are things that we don't want to do in business, but
there's a lot of those. Yeah.
but we may have to, right? So it all depends.
Yeah.
It all depends.
That's actually a good point you bring up too.
Yeah.
Sorry, just jump in there quick because it just brought something to mind. I think one of the learning things we've done as a agency too is realizing that just because someone doesn't have expertise in that, they still have expertise, and that expertise in today's market has to come across in video. You take a traditional brick and mortar business that used to have such massive success because people walked in, met the owner, connected with the owner on a one-to-one level, and converted as a client. Well, there's no difference. It's just that now that person is this little camera that we're speaking into.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So even for us as an agency, we've had to adopt to that. Lisa's brilliant at that. It's her expertise and her coaching methodologies that really bring out that comfort level for that person and I'm the same. I hate camera. I hate going on camera. I don't do it. I don't do it often. Even this is a stretch for me. But with Lisa and probably yourself, Chris, you're probably brilliant at bringing out the questions that calm that comfort level for that person, right?
Yeah.
So that I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to Lisa or I'm talking to Chris, and that's I think one of the magical pieces behind where we're taking the agency and helping clients kind of grow.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point, that there is a stretching of comfort zone that's going to be required to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur, to be successful. You just have sometimes you're going to have to stretch yourself and do stuff that is uncomfortable when there's a benefit to it. But I guess there's also, video can be many things, right? Video can be B-roll. It can be doesn't necessarily have to be, and those can be just as effective as me on camera, my face talking, as some images on me with a nice slide pack and me speaking to it, right? So there's many ways that you can do video. So there's not sort of one way to do it for everyone, and I like that that personalization is so important, and that can get missed in. You said sort of did programs where it's like, here's the program, just do it this way, do it my way. There can be a lack of mapping to the individual personality of the business owner.
For sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I know we're stuck on this video example. Where else are you? So you're helping course creators build courses, build membership sites. Where's that part of the industry moving for you? And do you personalize and customize that? Are you recommending course creation platforms? Are you working with whatever they've got? Are you stitching stuff together? Do you have your own kind of recommended suite of product to help with that? Because again, that whole tech suite can be a massive, massive thing. When I've got a WordPress website, I've got Thinkific or Kajabi or something over here that's doing that. Then I've got PayPal and Stripe and all these payment gateways, and I'm trying to just stitch it all together with Zapier. It can be a nightmare if I don't know what I'm doing. Do you come in with sort of a suite and go, look, if you're trying to do a course, for example, here's how we would build it? Or are you alternatively able to go, okay, here's what you've got, let's patch that together for you and optimize that?
Yeah, it's interesting that because we have clients, and much like we said, when we start with a client, we always kind of deep dive with them to find out the tech pieces that they have in place too. And almost 99% of the time, it's always exactly you just said. Oh, I've got, this in MailChimp and this in ClickFunnels. Oh yeah, I've got a funnel in this lead pages, and but it doesn't do anything, and it doesn't talk to this, and then it conks down on me, and I don't know how to fix it, but it's still on my website as the main opt-in, and we're like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, where does this go? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I just opted in. You didn't get my email? No. So for courses and memberships, hands down, Kajabi. It's by far the most powerful platform we've used. And one of the things I think with Kajabi that's a misconception is there's a lot of competition in the tech space, in the SaaS model space. And we get that a lot. For us, on the back end, we see the benefits before the clients see it, obviously. And when the client does see it, it's a beautiful thing. It's like saying, go see this band because they're so amazing. But until you see them play, you don't really appreciate it. That's kind of like a Kajabi for us.
Nice.
Oh, I was going to say, no, you're exactly right. I always look at it from the user perspective. If we make people use more energy than they want to put out, if we make them have to click a million things and go 100 different places and click over here to get the information for this and that, they're not going to do it. They're not going to complete the course, or they're not going to get into the membership. Or if we require too much from them, or if we make it too hard, they're not going to do it. Yeah. So we're always about trying to find, from a user standpoint, let's make this the most seamless, easy. The journey that you're taking them on is probably going to be difficult. That's the reason why they bought the thing they bought from you, because they want a different result. Let's not make the way they get the information more difficult than it needs to be. Because if they're like, oh, that's such a pain in the butt, and that thing didn't even work, and I got to email them, and this download's not right, and this thing is glitchy, and they're just
Zapier isn't connecting.
Yeah, they're not going to stay. They're not going to refer. They're not going to finish what you want them. They're not going to have the result. And we're all about that lifetime value of the customer. We don't want you just to have them buy that one thing. We want them to keep coming back and buying more from you and referring and telling people about you. So that process, when it's kind of spliced all together, it can be difficult. Now, that's not to say, sometimes we may work with something if there's always, again, that individualized kind of scenario sometimes that we work with. But for the most part, Kajabi is
for courses and
memberships. Kajabi is the one it's meant to be an all-in-one, so that you don't have to, splice.
And we find too together. That like even from a website perspective, there's a misconception with Kajabi that it's only meant for people who want memberships or courses. But really, when we deep dive with a client, we realize that, but just because it's not in your wheelhouse today or something that's on your business map today, it's usually 2 years or a year out. And that's where we say, do it now, because you're going to be here in a year. And then you're going to go, oh man,
I got to do this all over again.
I got to do it all over again.
I think I have played a little bit with Kajabi and building courses on various other lots of different platforms. I use, at the moment, I'm using Samcart, who've just released, literally just released a courses platform onto their platform, which is actually really, really nice. I've tried Teachable, Thinkific, Kajabi, and on my WordPress, press and optimize checkouts, which is also amazing. But for me, I'm quite technical. Like, I'll build the shit out of that stuff and connect it because I'm very technical and I can manage that. So it's more fun than stressful for me to play with all that stuff. But for someone where that's overwhelming, something like Kajabi, where I get my email, I get my automation, I get my course, I get my landing pages, I get everything all in one place. That can save a significant amount of time for someone, rather than having to log into 3, 4, 5 different things to check email here and this over here and course and stitch it all together. that can be overwhelming. So I think Kajabi does a really good job of that, all in one solution. I log into one URL and it's all there, and all the analytics and everything sits in one place. I think it's a really nice solution for for people that try. I mean, like I said, it's hard enough doing business, let alone building a course out can be difficult as well.
And people lose like months of their lives trying to figure this out, and they're so worried about, like, I gotta make money, I gotta do this, and I'm like, whoa, that is the worst place to build a business from, in that scarcity because you've just spent 8 months with your ego trying to figure it out. I mean, we've all done that. We're like, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna figure this out, and you blink and 8 months goes by. And you think about that missed opportunity of revenue and impact and income and all those things that we want. I have people that are, diehards to get their opt-in. And then they finally come to us. They're like, I've been trying for a year to get my opt-in. And I've been on podcasts all year, but I've had nothing, or I've spoken on stages all year, but I had
haven't made a sale.
Like, people want that next date with you. And then you've got nowhere to send them because you're so, stuck on, I'm going to do it myself and I'm going to figure it all out.
Yeah. So there's the ego is bang on with, it's like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to crack it. And sometimes it's easy to say, look, just do it for me. Just handle it. I'd rather pay money to buy my time back, to buy my energy back, to buy my attention back, to go over here and do the speaking and do the coaching calls and do the stuff I love, and know that everything else is just managed and sorted, and I don't have to stress about that anymore.
Yeah. And some coaches and consultants I find say they do done for you, but it's not really. Like, we've had that too, where people have said, I bought a done for you program, and they gave me the website, but I still had to do all the copy and fill it all in. And I'm like, no, that's
like a template.
That's a template. That's not done for you. Literally means we're going to walk you through, like, we're going to do the copywriting, the branding, the tech, like all that stuff. I think it's important to know, when you want to give it away, know that you're giving it truly to a company. If you have to go back in and it's not really, if you have to go back in and try to navigate it and figure it out yourself, it's not really done for you.
Yeah. And that's a good point too, that you bring up with time, right? That's a huge one for a lot of people, understanding value and their time. And we always reference it to, like, stay in your zone of genius, right? If you don't absolutely love tech and just want to get in there and get your hands on it, make it work, and it's going to keep you up at night until it works, that's not your zone of genius. Like, stay in there and make that impact and income in your zone of genius.
Right? Absolutely.
That's what we do. Tech is our zone of genius.
My
zone of genius.
So on that zone of genius for you, speaking of that, where did that come for you? Was that something you just sort of naturally oscillated towards that? Was it self-taught? How have you developed that? So when you were doing everything yourself at the beginning, did you just kind of get on with it and teach yourself stuff? Copyright, like, there's a lot in that. There's a lot of different skill sets that you've touched on that you do. To efficiently run that, you've got to have pretty good expertise across a really broad range of stuff. How did you develop that? Yeah,
I think, to put it, I guess, lightly, would be like, I see myself as kind of the mechanic working on, the old Chevy Malibu kind of guy, right? And that's how I see tech for me. It doesn't scare me. I'll click every single button that you throw at me. And if it blows up, cool, I'll just start over again. That's just my mentality. And I do say it even to Lisa, like, I'll say all the time, like, don't be scared. Like, you're not going to break the thing. And that for me is really where I started. I mean, I'm 20 years in this, industry.
Gosh, you're old.
Gosh, I'm almost kidding. And I love all, and I get it. Shiny object syndrome. I'm one of those guys too. Like, I see a SaaS product and I'm just like, man, that's cool. You can automate that. Like, that's insane. And it's so incredible to see something that takes 10 hours worth of time drill it down to a minute. And that's, to me, that's just like, wow, what an amazing tech piece.
I built a personal brand before we did our company together.
Yeah.
And I was in a done with you group coaching program. And it was all about how to position yourself and get online. I was doing health and fitness coaching. I was doing something completely different than what we were doing now. And there were, I think, maybe 8 or 9 of us in the whole group. And I was the only person that, quote unquote, graduated, meaning we did the website, we did the opt-in, we did the funnel, and I had a group coaching program and a membership. And the only reason why I graduated was because I had you. I'd be like, I need to integrate this thing and click this button and do this keyword and put this thing here. And like, I don't know what I'm doing. And even though I was putting in, it was like a 6 or 8 month program. Yeah. That really was the aha. And like that people have decision fatigue. They have learning fatigue. They just don't want to learn. And it was like, I built it in ClickFunnels and I had MailChimp and then we had GetResponse and we had Typeform and got it up. But then God forbid you want to change something, a link somewhere, and you don't remember what sequence you have it linked in.
Oh my God, bring back flashbacks. Right? There was like links in like the 4th email that still went to another opt-in.
There's been times remember when people would be like, this thing's broken. And we're like, I don't even know where that is. Like, I can't even find that. So I think it was the trials and tribulations of really, you helped me get my personal brand up and out. Yeah. And it was, we built everything together. And then of course,
from scratch.
We've studied under Marie Forleo for copy and Brenda Burchard. And, obviously we've just, went on a 10-year journey of just learning every skill we could, in that space, like tons of personal development, tons of marketing and, from all the people and all the things. But we're always learning as we go. Yep. That part of our industry and our job is to stay current with all the things that are out there, and things that worked 2 years ago are not working now. And it's being flexible and being, always curious about trying new things and doing that. But that was that a nightmare. Like I bought the cookie cutter system and it was,
I can feel the PTSD for a few
a lot of wine helped that.
And it still wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
It's still not cheap or free. It's still, you still have to put in a ton of money and
time. And the time,
It's huge.
And then it just kind of looks amateur. And that hurts my heart when people they're brilliant and they're doing amazing work and they have this unique gift and passion and drive and they're just amazing people. And then you look at their stuff and it's so amateur and you're like, oh, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, it just looks the same as everyone else, or it looks like a template or even worse.
Exactly. It shows.
Yeah. So as you're saying, that is the retail experience, right? That's the online. I walk into the storefront. That is my website. That is my landing page. That's my Instagram feed. That is that first impression of, do I want to do business with this person? Do I trust this person? Do I like this person?
Yes.
And if it kind of looks crappy or it just doesn't give that essence of who that person is, I'm out and I'll find the next person. It's so important.
We make so many decisions with our eyes in the first couple seconds that we see something.
They say don't judge a book by its cover, but we 100% judge every book by its cover.
And now that we are so online and there's so many assets and so many things, that average person is they see an ad and then they're looking at your LinkedIn, they're looking at your webpage, they're looking at your IG, they're they're looking at your opt-ins. They want to kind of see it all. And get a good picture of you. So,
I think that's an interesting point too. That expectation has shifted. Like 10 years ago, nobody really knew what an opt-in was, or a lead magnet, or a funnel. Or I know when I put my email in here, I'm going to get an email, I'm going to get an opt-in, I'm going to get an upsell, then I'm going to get a downsell. I'm going to get a thing that I click out of the page. It's going to bring up another thing that's trying to sell me on something else.
Exactly.
So that bullshit radar is very, very high now.
Off the charts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what you say. People are going to dig into you these days. They're not just going to essentially just kind of fall for those traditional digital marketing tactics that worked really well 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And particularly the last 18 months, everyone is online now more than ever. So this stuff's becoming much more familiar. So it's how do you break through? How do you break through that? How do you show your genuineness and authenticity to connect with people in a genuine way? So I think what you're doing is massively helpful for people that know they need to do that, but then also know that they just don't know how to or don't want to.
Yeah. Like I said, it comes to a point where you can. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
It's and it's a mindset shift, right? I mean, we all struggle with it, in different capacities, but really it's a mindset shift for a lot of people to get out of that.
It's a control thing.
Yeah, like to release. Yeah, to release and just be like,
trust.
Hey, like, I could probably, fix my own car and change the tires, but when the car rolls into the ditch,
I could watch a YouTube video how to fix the brakes, right?
I can do that. Sure you could.
Yeah, but should you? I love that point. You can do it, but should you do it? That's a massive distinction, a very important distinction to have on it for literally every choice you're making in your business is, yes, I can do it. Should I do it? If I shouldn't be doing it, if it's not in my zone of genius and I know what that is and I'm very clear about these are the 2 to 3 things that I'm going to be focused on, everything else is either eliminated, deferred, or delegated.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you for the chat today. It's been very, very insightful. I think there's lots of, particularly you've probably found the last 18 months there's that many coaches and consultants, there's course creation, this space has blown up over the last couple of years with everyone sitting at home going, actually, I hate my job. I want to, service the world and contribute something different. And
or people have said, we just thought this thing was going to blow over and we had time. And then they're like panicked because they're like, oh my gosh, we're 6 months behind everybody else. I don't think virtual is going away. I don't think online stuff is ever going away. It's like you need to kind of, it's like when it's like, but I won't do it. Well, you have to. Like this is if you want
a business.
Or if you knew you had to, you didn't have the option to not anymore.
Yeah, it's not a nice to have anymore. It's if you don't got it, you don't got a business.
Exactly.
Yeah, the marketplace is dictating it now.
Exactly.
Not the business owner.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, super valuable stuff, guys. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to be on.
Dropping in here on the show. If people want to connect more with you, find out more about what you do, where are some of the best places for them to come and find you?
Yeah, so my personal brand has a lot of our stuff. So lisapezik.com, or right there, as you can see, infinitedesignhouse.com is our company website. It's got all our assets and everything that we've built for people. I think those are the best places, the website.
I'm sure if you Google us, you'll find us.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'll drop all those links and all the links to Lisa's personal pages and everything in the show notes so that folks at home can smash those links and go get connected with you, find folks and find out more about how you can help them. Whether even if you're an agency owner, you're looking at building out some revenue streams in your business and building a course or putting your IP into something like a program or a membership or a subscription. Lisa and Eric can certainly help you get that stuff built out so you can focus on your zone of genius and do what you are good at and don't do the stuff that's going to be a nightmare for you.
Don't have PTSD like we did talking about that.
Stay on that road. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that's super important stuff. Love the zone of genius idea. And I think it's something very, very important for people to really get clear on what am I great at? What am I not great at? Do what I'm sit in my zone of genius and just get someone else to manage the rest. It's going to avoid that PTSD and make my life and my business a lot easier.
So true. Yes.
Thank you so much for dropping by. Thanks everyone for tuning in at home. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.